Let's see if this works. Here we go.
Shell report that we've been waiting for. What actually happened on January 6th? The FBI had 26 confidential human sources there that day. 26. A confidential human source is a guy the FBI pays to spy for them. Of the 26 confidential human sources who were in D.C. on Jan 6th, 4 entered the Capitol during the riot. An additional 13 entered the restricted area around the Capitol. So more than a dozen FBI spies participated in the so-called insurrection. A bunch of them broke into the Capitol. Their own inspector general says this is what happened. But that's not what they told you when they testified under oath.
Those who were there in an undercover capacity on January 6th, how many were there?
Again, I'm not sure that I can give you that number as I sit here. I'm not sure there were undercover agents on scene.
I thought I heard you say you didn't know whether there were FBI agents or informants or human sources in the Capitol or in the vicinity on January 6th. Did I misunderstand you? I thought that's what you said.
Well, I referred very specifically to undercover agents.
Yeah. And so are you acknowledging then there were undercover agents?
As I sit here right now, I do not believe there were undercover agents on scene.
The inspector was hiding something, so Congress asked the question a different way. Listen.
Did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol on January the 6th prior to the doors being open?
Again, I had to be very careful.
It should be a no. Can you not tell the American people no?
What they want is plausible deniability.
We did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol.
Gentleman's time has expired.
You should not read anything into my decision not to share information.
Director Ray,
confidential.
Gentleman's time.
Ray's right. The FBI didn't have undercover agents at January 6th. They had confidential human sources. So what's the difference? Well, a confidential human source doesn't get health insurance or a pension. They're just freelancing for the feds. Rats in MAGA hats. They're basically paid informants that the FBI runs out of headquarters. A lot of these FBI rats get picked up on some other charge. They get sat down and the FBI says, you're going to work for me now. And if you don't, you're looking at 20 years to life. So these guys say, yes, sir. And they cozy up to people like the Proud Boys and anyone the feds wants to watch and control from the inside. And these confidential human sources are under pressure to deliver. What does deliver mean? It means intelligence and big busts that get the FBI good headlines. According to the Inspector General report, the spies were feeding the FBI intel that said January 6th was going to get a little hairy. But FBI headquarters did nothing about it and then lied to Congress and said they did. So why did headquarters let January 6th get so out of hand? And what were all these FBI spies doing that day and the days before? Were they riling everyone up like they did in the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot? In that case, the FBI informants instigated the plot. They even used an FBI credit card to buy the ammo, supplies, and hotel rooms. Did the FBI pay for Jan 6 hotel rooms? We don't know. Remember, the media and the Democrats said this whole thing was a conspiracy.
Where do you think this idea comes from, that this was somehow done by the Fed?
Hey, I'm sorry I've been so late coming on. I was planning to be on at 6, about over half an hour ago. But I had a hard time. I cleaned my machine, cleaned all the spyware and stuff off it, and I had a hard time getting logged back into my Rumble studio. I got into Rumble, but I was having a hard time getting into the studio part of it.
I heard that one of the debaters said it was an inside job. It's an inside job on the part of Donald Trump and his henchmen.
Republicans have blamed the FBI and said it was an inside job.
It certainly was not an inside job by...
It certainly was, and Antifa was involved.
FBI agents or Antifa. They go around blaming it on Antifa and FBI agents.
I got a lot on the Tina Peters stuff and about the Somalia stuff. I got to play clips on those.
Well, how did the media know it wasn't an inside job when the FBI had 26 of their people on the inside? January 6th certainly benefited the media, the FBI and the Democrats. 1,500 arrests, humiliated Trump, got him impeached, criminalized the MAGA movement. Trump got indicted over January 6th, remember? They tried to throw him in prison over this. The January 6th committee, it's all Democrats did for 2 years. Why didn't the committee find any of these snitches? They did a one-sided investigation and teed up Garland to charge Trump so they could run against a convicted felon. So the media is going to apologize, right? No. The media today is cherry-picking the report to say there were no undercover agents there on January 6th. The whole thing's a conspiracy. These aren't articles. They're FBI press releases. And they wonder why their ratings are trash and no one trusts them. It's because of this. They don't want the truth. They want to hide it if it hurts the left. And they can't admit they were wrong because it's too embarrassing. And they were a part of the cover-up. But the FBI...
Too embarrassing. They don't want to get caught. That's why.
Is worse than the media. The FBI knew what was in this report. They covered it up before the election. And then the director says he's resigning the day before it comes out. Give me a break. This kind of sliminess is why Trump nominated Kash Patel. I wonder what else Kash is going to find in the bureau when he looks under the hood.
As a former federal prosecutor and a public defender who defended a lot of these types of cases, what you need to show is whether or not the FBI and government agents were using undercover operatives and informants on the day of January 6th. Once you prove that, then you defeat the insurrection narrative with the FBI's own documentation.
And what does this report do to the January 6th defendants? None of the confidential informants were arrested or charged. These guys were right alongside everyone walking into the Capitol. But you're in prison for years? Now, if you're a defense attorney for a Jan 6er and this drops after the case was decided, that could change everything.
Like I said earlier, I'm sorry I'm late. I had a hard time. I cleaned my machine, you know, spyware and all that kind of stuff, and I had a hard time getting back into Rumble Studio. Not into Rumble, but into the studio.
Constitutional law professor Jonathan Turley says this, quote, "There is a question of why the confidential human sources who entered the Capitol were not charged as part of an operation that the Justice Department described as an effort to shock and awe, targeting everyone involved that day. This report does not find specific wrongdoing or direction from confidential human sources in the rioting. Congress, however, is likely to seek more information on these sources and their conduct on the day." Are you allowed to commit crimes as a spy for the FBI and not get charged? Because they said this was the greatest attack on democracy ever. Said it was up there with 9/11. Traitors, they said, seditionists. They're off scot-free. You can try to overthrow the government if you're an FBI rat and just walk away. Congress has to find out. And what does this mean for pardons? I mean, the Hunter Biden pardon already greased the runway for Trump, but this reports all the ammo Trump needs. He told Time magazine, it's going to start in the first hour, maybe the first 9 minutes. Now, if I were president, I don't think I'd pardon J6ers who were slugging cops, but if you were wandering around peacefully, come on. And it's not just Kash Patel that's going to clean house. Tulsi's on deck.
I'm here with Tulsi Gabbard. She's here on the Hill meeting with my colleagues. She's going to be a great DNI, Director of National Intelligence. It's a really important job. It oversees all intelligence agencies.
I had a hard time logging into my StreamYard studio. I cleaned spyware off my computer, and for some reason, it was giving me a hard time getting in. It took me an extra half hour to get in.
And it's in need of reform. I think everybody would admit that. And so we need to bring in a reformer.
Now, the deep state's never been this backed into a corner, ever. We have Trump assassination files that we want to release, JFK assassination files, COVID files, Epstein, Diddy. What about that pipe bomb? Is the FBI still working on that one? Who planted that? It's just another conspiracy theory that you were right about. The lab leak, the laptop, and now Jan 6. No wonder Biden's under pressure to dish out more pardons. Who knows how high this thing goes?
Yep, I got a lot on the Tina Peters thing that's going on there. The whole thing of the pardon and whether he's got some backdoor way of somehow getting her out of this. Getting her out, I hope so. Hey, John Blackfeather. So, and I got stuff on the Somalia thing too. I got a long clip on that. Let me play another one first. a little funny one, then I'll get on to the Tina Peters stuff. A little bit from Karen Kennedy. Didn't start.
You know I'm not one to complain, but I gotta have a new work truck. I can't keep driving that one out there. Okay, it's too new, it's got too many gadgets. I mean, I can't even reverse with it.
You can't reverse with it? Is the transmission already gone out? That's a brand new truck.
I don't know. All I did was throw it in reverse. It started beeping real loud, and then it played me a video of somebody getting ran over by a truck. You know, everything out there with a cassette player? That's kind of my speed.
Played you a video? Roscoe, that's your rear view camera.
And why do I need that? I got 3 mirrors to look at. I mean, come on now. I guess it does make a little bit of sense, though, with the scream and the thump I felt. I thought I had a really good audio system in there, like an immersive experience. We should probably go to the parking lot.
Yeah, we probably should. Now, when you say commotion out there, could you specify that a little bit? Maybe, tell me if there was somebody laying on the ground behind a truck, possibly.
Well, that is a really good guess. You should apply for Wheel of Fortune. That is exactly what was going on out there. And he seemed fine. He seemed fine until he found out it was a company truck.
Great. That's all we need is another lawsuit. Good job, I guess, Can't check your rearview camera. You checked all 3 mirrors, didn't see him. That's what the camera's for. Did the ambulance already take him?
That was you?
Not one of my finer moments. Okay, I'll admit to that. I mean, who the hell stands behind a truck when it's in reverse in the first place? All they had to do was move out of the way.
They got the voices down pretty good. A lot of those are really funny, I tell you, man. I think I'm going to play a little more humor of the baby in Alaska thing to get more people in here before I really get to the Tina Peters stuff. Okay, and then Somalia stuff.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the channel. So it's now December, and that means that it's time to find a gorgeous and amazing Christmas tree, okay? I left all the losers from the fake news back in Washington, and I have come out to the beautiful frozen wilderness to find a tree unlike anything anybody's ever seen before. People aren't even going to believe it. Melania told me, darling, we need a Christmas tree for the White House. Go get one. And I am not going to get just any Christmas tree, okay? So I have come to the great state of Alaska, which loves me, and I love it. And the people, they are big baby Trump people, okay? I have won this state 3 times, and I'll probably win it a 4th.
It was a big deal.
That's a story for another time. This state is just enormous, frankly. So it is twice the size of Texas, okay? So it's huge. And somewhere in the wilderness is the perfect tree. So let's go find it. So I need to be careful out here because Alaska has more bears than any other state. And also there are bald eagles just all over the place here. This is a very patriotic state. Benjamin Franklin, who is a great guy, very top level, he wanted the turkey to be the national bird. He had a lot of good ideas, but that wasn't one of them, okay? Imagine eating a nice bald eagle for Thanksgiving dinner. It's not good. All right. Here looks like a good spot. I know good land when I see it. I was very successful in the real estate business, so I have a very good feeling I'm going to find a tree around here. All right. I need to cut up a little bit of firewood here. All right. Look at this. Absolutely marvelous tree. Now, some of you are probably thinking that it's not big enough,
Charlie Brown tree,
but you're wrong, okay? This tree is perfect. Believe me, I know a lot about trees. Everybody says so. Now, I don't want to hurt this tree by cutting it down because that would be rude. And I'm not rude, okay? I'm only rude to lunatics and morons. So instead, I'm going to very powerfully pull the tree out of the ground.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so now I have the tree, a very beautiful tree, my tree. But now, after doing all of that physical labor, I'm getting hungry. So I think I'll head down to that river and maybe do a little fishing. So I have captured this massive fish because the fish was weak and stupid, like a lot of people in Washington are. It's a big fish, very slippery. Excuse me, bear, what the heck are you doing walking up to me like that? Are you stupid? Are you a stupid bear? What do you want? You want my beautiful fish, don't you? Well, I'm not going to give you this fish, okay? Because if I just give you food, you'll never learn how to get food on your own. And you'll just follow me around looking for a handout and being pathetic. So just go away, bear. You're a very lazy, low energy bear.
I don't think they're that tame.
Oh, wonderful. I leave Sleepy Joe Biden back in D.C. and I run into a sleepy polar bear. I'm going to call you Sleepy Bear Biden. It's ridiculous.
I can't believe that you won't give that bear your fish. It's outrageous. Just because you worked for it and caught it doesn't make it yours. If I was president, I would take that fish from you and give it to the bear along with free health care. That's why socialism is great.
What the hell are you doing here, Bernie? Where did you come from?
I appear
I think
where I'm least wanted. That's why I became a senator.
Okay, well, a few things here. We are in the middle of nowhere, okay? There's no people for hundreds of miles, and yet you still have that face diaper on. You don't need it, Bernie. You're not well, okay? And if you took my beautiful fish from me, then I would be fishless instead of the bear.
Well, then, we would just take the fish back from the bear and give it to you. Don't you see how great this system could be?
You're a very stupid person. Just get out of here. All right, well, it gets dark pretty quickly up here, so I'm going to head back to my very impressive campsite and cook this fish. What a delicious fish. Almost as good as McDonald's. Okay, well, it's getting quite cold and late, so I'm going to head off to sleep, and I'll see you all in the morning. Okay, everybody, we achieved what we set out to do. We found a phenomenal Christmas tree. Melania is going to love it. So let's head on back to DC. But before we go, I would like to give a special thanks to our newest members, Phil N. Eflay, Cruise Radio, Mahalo 4 Music 268, and S. Peppers 69. Thank you all once again. And if anybody else would like to help support us directly.
Yep, I'm not going to play their whole ad. But anyways, let me close that one. I'm going to go with a couple clips I have saved on the hard drive. Here, I'm going to start with Karen Kennedy talking about the Tina Peters thing.
President Trump pardoned Gold Star mother, Tina Peters, and witness to a federal election crimes, Tina Peters. She has been in prison for over a year in the state of Stalingrad, aka Colorado, that is currently being run into the ground by the Gang of Four, particularly, and the new crop of fascist, the true definition of fascists and communists who want to keep their boot on your neck, keep stealing your money, and they'll.
Yeah, sorry I'm late getting on. I planned to be on at 6, and I had trouble logging back into my Rumble studio. I cleaned the machine, and I was having trouble.
throw you in prison if you oppose them. That's what happened to Tina Peters. She is a material witness to a federal election crime. They know it, and President Trump pardoned her yesterday. That is an Article 2 pardon. And yeah, I know, I have heard it for a year. That's a state crime, blah, 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 blah. Get it. However, there is the federal aspect to this. And though there are constitutional
Hopefully chat's working well.
questions that are raised, guess what? If these bastards are never held accountable for the shit they did in 2020 to help Joe Biden and the Hindu Horus Kamala Harris steal the election, we won't have a republic, and it won't matter. Because if these Democrats ever get back in charge, they're going to burn the Constitution to the ground. They've already started their process in 2008 with Barack Hussein Obama, aka Slim Slacks. The Colorado junta are very nervous. They haven't been nervous like ever because they write their own rules. They do whatever the hell they want. They commit crimes and then investigate themselves, Jenna Griswold, and then they find themselves completely free of crimes. They didn't do anything. So shit on you for even bringing it up. How dare you?
Sounds like
Tina
Joe Biden.
Peters was the Mesa County clerk who did her job by seeing an issue that was going to be completely erased and replaced with other information, not within the 22-month requirement for a federal election. They know it. They did a so-called trusted build. Tina Peters has the information before and after their trusted build, and they are fucking terrified. You know, I remember in the state of Colorado, this individual, Rogel Lazaro Aguilera Maderos, who was illegally in this country driving a truck, who killed 4 people, injured like almost.
So you've seen Karen Kennedy before. She calls her Hindu Horus all the time.
Fatally injured 10 people and did millions of dollars in property damage because he couldn't read the freaking signs in English, which is likely what happened based on what I'm finding out from Secretary Sean Duffy of the Department of Transportation now. Is so many of these illegal aliens who have non-domicile CDLs can't read signs in English, and they are causing major fatalities on highways. I don't want to get too far off of this subject concerning President Trump and his pardon of Tina Peters. This is generating national conversation. And one may say that this is outside of his presidential Article 2 authority. But let me reiterate, if these bastards are allowed to get away with this and let Tina Peters rot and die in prison and all the evidence just goes away, poof, we will not have a republic because these Democrats are going to continue to steal elections to keep themselves in power. That's what all this is about. Oh yeah, and covering up their tracks. Let me get back to this story. This Rogel Lazar, anyway, who gives a shit? These, not just the state of Colorado, who got over 3 million signatures across the country to release this dude because the Jefferson County judge gave him 110 years, but the crank far left and the liberals felt sorry for him because, oh, he's illegal, oh, he'll get deported, oh, he has a wife, oh, he has kids. So he killed 4 people. on the highway because he didn't go on ice. He was on I-70 West and he could not drive in the mountains. There are up ramps that truckers know about going through I-70 through these mountains that are treacherous in the winter. He didn't go up the ramp. He kept going 80 miles an hour with a 6% steep grade and killed a bunch of people, did damage. Oh yeah, by the way, Kim Kardashian.
I got more on those drivers there. Later video I'll be showing a lot of these drugs that they're using illegal truck drivers because they're shipping drugs in these trucks. I got more on that coming.
And chimed in to get this dude a reduced sentence. Why? Because he's illegal, because he has a kid or kids, and because he has a wife. That's it. They don't ever advocate for American citizens like that. But whatever. My point is, he has only like a year left of that sentence, and he can be released for good behavior after killing 4 people. That was like 5 years ago. Murder 4 people. Dude, what the fuck ever. And then over here, you got the Colorado Sun. And that story was a Denver Post. I hate the Denver Post, but whatever. This is the Colorado Sun. Headline, Colorado governor commutes 4 inmate sentences, pardons 20 people, including state trooper who guarded Capitol. I'm just going to go down the list here for the sake of time. Let's talk about not Michael Clifton, who was sentenced to 98 years in prison after being convicted of second-degree kidnapping, 2 counts of first-degree burglary, 3 counts of aggravated robbery with intent to kill. Oh, go and be with God. You are released.
Oh, wow.
Goodbye. Yeah. Let's see. Renee.
Everyone read Christine's post. Wow.
Lima Marin was also sentenced to 98 years in prison, but he was mistakenly released in 2008, only to be re-imprisoned.
Are you in
because he
Colorado,
reoffended,
Christine?
and then a judge released him. Yeah. Then police, they all pardoned him. Goodbye. Go and be with God. Here we go. There's some more. Sidney Cooley, convicted of theft, drug, and weapons possession in 2002, burglary, blah, blah, blah. Pardoned. Go away. Go be with God. Another one, Robin Ferris, eligible for parole 31 January. I think this is an old story, so he's already been paroled. Let's see. What did he do? Second-degree murder.
Thanks, Christine.
Second-degree
glad
murder.
to get out of there.
Goodbye. Thank you. Mwah.
It's so controlled by the left. Actually, they don't vote by the left. That's why Tina Peters was gonna throw out the whole thing. They're trying to keep Tina Peters in jail until she dies. That's what they're trying to do.
Go and be with God. Sean Marshall, 45-year sentence. He only served a small fraction of it. Let's see.
I did see something about that. I didn't have the numbers. Thanks for keeping us up to date, John. I did see there was a shooting at Brown University. I'm not even sure that is. That's somewhere in the Northeast here, isn't it?
Overcome many obstacles in your life.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Trantifa.
Blah, 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 blah.
Would not be shocked.
What was him? 10 times convicted. Oh my God, other pardons. There's Vincente, Anton. There's a long list of other pardons here. My point in this is the Colorado Sun. You can look it up yourself. From December 22nd, 2022. Yeah, Colorado releases hardened violent criminals. But a Gold Star mother whose son was a decorated ranger who gave his life for his country, and all she did was her job as the Mesa County clerk. Yeah, she's too dangerous. That's what the judge who sentenced her said. She's just too dangerous. But second-degree murder? Shit. Bye.
Well, in California, Another liberal place.
This video is a little bit longer,
Maybe you can
and
help
I'm not going
change
to
it.
apologize for that. Jared Polis, you have been given a command. Oh, yeah, Phil Weiser, the attorney general, who is running for governor of Colorado, by the way, said, nah, I'm not going to release her. Yeah, we'll see, punk ass bitch. Send in the marshals.
If anyone gets any info on who, let me know. No
Send in the
custody.
U.S. Marshals. It's time.
Not yet.
These Colorado junta think.
Is there any video? If someone shares the video in comments, I'll play it during the show.
They are untouchable. I would too, I guess, if nobody ever did anything.
Yep, I don't know about her getting out or not. There was a guy that made a case for that. Let me see if I can bring that up. I have it here. Let me get this out of the way. That's the ice Somali thing. Here's the Tina Peters stuff. This guy seems to think that Trump is playing them on the left. Let's see what you think.
Good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. Folks, I have a great report for you today because Tina Peters is going to be coming home. I have been digging into this and reading a lot, and there is so much going on behind the scenes that I wasn't even aware of within the Trump administration and legal wranglings to get Tina Peters home. Now, you remember just a couple days ago, Trump issued this pardon to Tina Peters.
Christina.
Surprisingly, I was like, well, what the heck of it is that? What is that going to do? I mean, it's a state crime. He can't. Don't worry. This report will explain it all. There is so much taking place here, and it was one of the things that had to happen to get the ball rolling on this. So let me bring into, I've got numerous articles. We're going to talk about some legal terms, but just pay attention, stick with me through the whole thing, and do go check out my sponsor, MyPillow. That's right, mypillow.com/lumberjack, folks. Shipping charges from the 2-8 stories here. So we have from the Rocky Mountain Voice, Colorado systems have failed Tina Peters again and again and again. Now look at this. A federal judge dismissed Tina Peters' habeas corpus petition, admitting she raised important constitutional questions about whether a state court punished her for speech, then refused to consider those questions because of the Younger Doctrine. Now, I'm going to skip ahead here for just a second. We're going to talk about this Younger Doctrine because I didn't know what it was. But it's a legal principle where federal courts abstain from involving themselves in ongoing state criminal prosecutions. It is rooted in federalisms and committee established by Younger v. Harris in 1971. It generally prevents federal courts from stopping state criminal cases unless there are extraordinary circumstances. Now, watch those words, extraordinary circumstances, as we show you what's going on behind the scenes, like bad faith prosecution or a patently unconstitutional statute ensuring states' rights to enforce their own laws without federal intrusion. Now, that's going to be a good thing. We don't want the feds intruding on all states' cases, but Colorado has gone amok. And when we talk about extraordinary circumstances and bad faith prosecution, we will read on. So hours later, Colorado's Department of Corrections moved Peters into an isolation. Look at this, folks, into an isolation.
Watch what they did to Tina Peters. Here she is, like 70 and ill.
Detention center observation 22 hours a day in a concrete cell, lights on around the clock, no yard time, and a single explanation. This is for your safety. Now, you tell me in the comments down below. Do you
bull crap? Well, why would any of the inmates want to target her for any way? She's not a pedophile or some stupid thing, you know?
believe for 1 second that they're concerned about Tina's safety, or are they just concerned about providing maximum punishment because they don't like what's going on? That same afternoon, the United States Department of Justice opened a civil rights investigation into Colorado's prisons and youth facilities, citing possible unconstitutional mistreatment. So now the entirety of Colorado's prison systems is under review by the DOJ for cruel and unusual punishment. The state closed in. The federal court stepped back, and a 70-year-old woman raising serious constitutional claims was put into a solitary system inside a system now under federal investigation.
They want her to die in there so she can never talk on how they've been cheating for decades in Colorado.
Investigation. Okay, Attorney John Case said in a statement to Rocky Mountain Voice, "Of course, we are disappointed with the federal magistrate that he ruled as he did. It is a shame that he missed the opportunity to free an innocent lady," listen to this, "whose only crime was to preserve evidence that showed why Colorado voting systems cannot be trusted. The ruling comes on the same day that the latest Rasmussen poll shows 63% of American voters are concerned that electronic voting systems may allow votes to be changed, and 2 days after former Venezuelan General Hugo Carvajal Barrios confessed publicly that Smartmatic software was exported to the U.S. to rig elections here the same way they are rigged in Venezuela. Colorado state officials have benefited from the system we now have with machines, which can be accessed remotely by bad actors. And folks, I did a live on this earlier today, but that was proven in testimony in Georgia yesterday that they were remotely accessing and wiping poll pads. So go check that one out if you want more on that. But now look at this. Colorado laws assume federal certification of their election equipment was valid. New evidence provided in part by Tina Peters indicate they were invalid and the systems were compromised. Colorado politicals can no longer claim ignorance of this, but they are stupid enough to try. So here's what Governor Jared Polis had tweeted out the other day. Tina Peters was convicted by a jury of her peers, prosecuted by a Republican district attorney. Use that word Republican loosely, folks, and found guilty of violating Colorado state laws, including criminal impersonation. No president has jurisdiction over state law nor the power to pardon a person for state convictions. This is a matter for the courts to decide, and we will abide by
bunch of
court
guys
orders.
get a grab
Well,
that
folks,
governor
this
and
is
give him a
going
long
back
talk.
to what we were just talking about
Letting in all
before.
the illegals. We're the comfort. Oh, sorry about the ads.
Look at this. What Colorado redacted from a federal prison letter and why it matters. So you can see this whole thing, like here's the original. It's all redacted. So all this letter does is shows that a request was made, okay? It doesn't tell you why the federal government made the request in the first place. So Colorado.
Well, the other thing, probably in a few days, I'll be playing something about the J6ers. They're trying to come back after some of them in D.C., believe it or not, trying to get around Trump being able to do it. So they're trying to make them like state charges or something so that they can go back after all the January 6 people that were pardoned. They're going to try to get them on other charges, is what they're trying to do. They want him in jail desperately.
While claiming to be transparent by letting you know that this letter was released, an unredacted version of the same letter will be down below here. Now look at this. The Federal Bureau of Prisons respectfully submits this request to initiate the transfer of a state.
I believe, Christine, that she'd said that she'd given backup copies to some other people, and they've been trying to find out who it is, and she's never confessed to it.
Inmate from the Colorado Department of Corrections to federal custody for the purpose of serving a state-imposed sentence within a federal correction institution. So then it goes down to Tina Peters. Now look at this. The request is made pursuant to Intergovernmental Agreement 1480, provisions between Federal Bureau of Prisons and the Colorado Department of Corrections. This individual currently has no federal sentence or federal charges. Their request is solely to allow Ms. Peters to serve her existing state sentence within Bureau of Prisons custody as the conditions that she is currently confined in within the Colorado Department of Corrections are not conducive to the factors involved in her case. Ms. Peters will be housed within the BOP at no cost to Colorado Department.
I know that if the stuff was released right now, they would suicide her while in jail. I'm sure they would.
Of Corrections. And then it goes on about how they're willing to handle all the logistics. So they're saying you are treating this prisoner poorly, and she's a 70-year-old woman. But here's where it gets really good. Juan O'Savin posted this. New info on Tina Peters. If you haven't heard, President Trump issued a pardon for Tina Peters yesterday. That's the good news. The bad news is the Colorado Governor Polis has made it clear he will not allow federal intervention into a Colorado state case, and he's not letting Tina out. What is not widely understood is that this was fully anticipated and researched. President Trump is on very solid ground on multiple bases, and multiple attorneys have vetted the process ahead. So they were planning for the process that is to come, folks. So here's what I'd say to everybody. Keep it simple. Federal law was broken by Colorado. Judge Matthew Barrett refused to let the jury hear her defense. Federal law requires the evidence be preserved. 41 motions were denied. 41 motions, folks. The jury never got to hear the truth. Mesa County Clerk Peters is the only clerk in the state of Colorado that preserved proof of Secretary of State Jenna Griswold's authorization of the deletion of state and federal election records illegally. So the person that should be on trial is Jenna Griswold. Dominion Vote System.
That's the biggest reason they have to keep her in jail, so she can't talk.
Systems did the deleting
Well, she
in
dies.
violation of their
Then they
contracts,
punish
both
her.
state and federal. Three things. One, President Trump is about to reassert a federal authority concerning pardons that existed prior to Lincoln. Just like a previous court was wrong about Roe v. Wade, the states have been wrong for 150 years on presidential pardon authority. This is about to be challenged hard, and Trump will easily win, just like he did when Colorado courts unanimously worked to remove him from the ballot and the Supreme Court unanimously
What's everyone's thoughts on that? Will they be able to pardon people that are even on state charges or not because of the way they treated her?
trounced the Colorado courts
Have treated
and
her?
put Trump on the ballot. So remember, we are dealing with the corrupt judicial system of Colorado that attempted to remove Donald Trump from the ballot. Two, the clerk manages, collects, tabulates, reports, protects election data for the U.S. House of Representatives under
Yeah, no
federal authority. This has been forgotten
They're always trying to cover up their tracks, aren't they, Charles?
and overwritten over time. It's about to be revisited. This is a biggie, folks, okay? Three, Trump is going to declare a national emergency concerning elections. Now, I shared that video earlier today on another stream where Trump said, yeah, everybody's about to know within the next couple months. We know the election.
Do you think he'll do a national emergency in order to change their election law?
Was rigged. We have the information, and it's going to be released. So that's all coming. And Trump is going to declare this national emergency concerning elections. When he does, he will also exercise authority over every aspect of the election process, and no court will have authority to challenge his actions within the context of that national emergency. Dark to light. At that moment, he can and will take physical custody of Tina as an expert and even make her an election czar when her health is stabilized. Can you imagine, folks?
Could you imagine her becoming election czar? Do a lot better than Kamala Harris with the czar of the border.
This reminds me of stories in the Bible of people like Daniel who were brought in and then raised up. Think about Joseph in Egypt, right? Brought in as a slave, raised up to the second highest office in the land. For extra credit, Tina can assist and will be a witness whistleblower concerning prison conditions and failures in the Colorado prison systems. That is also now an active federal investigation. Finally, remember the Justice Department's investigations concerning vote fraud in Colorado became criminal investigations 6 months ago. That's not an earthquake. It may have started as chest pounding by the governor and other state officials, but soon it's going to be knees knocking in the Capitol buildings of Colorado. One, when exposing a crime is treated as committing a crime, you are being ruled by criminals, folks. This is a huge story. It has not gotten enough press, but so much of it is trying to figure this out. And now
I hadn't seen that yet, John. I've heard. I guess I've heard a little bit that she has connections, but not any of the stuff is published.
We have a breakdown as to what exactly is going on and what we can expect. I'm excited about this. I'm really excited about the next couple months regarding this because we've seen so many things going awry. But if we can clean up elections, if we can get elections secured, if we can get illegals off the voter rolls, if we can get illegals not counted in the census, there's so many things, and Trump can do that once all these
voter ID. If he does a national emergency, he can get voter ID nationwide. That it would, and no more friggin' mail-in balloting. Those are the two biggest ways they cheat.
pieces are in place. I'm very excited about this, folks. Again, please go check out my sponsor, MyPillow. MyPillow.
Don't forget the ad. But I don't know. What's everyone think? What's their 2 cents on that? I'm going to get to the Somali thing, but this is the best video right here. I'm going to play some clips before I get to that one. Let me grab them. Here we go. This is let me do this one first.
More Somali fraud has been exposed out of Ohio. This is getting out of hand, and they're all being exposed. Listen to this. Somalis in
this is in Ohio.
Ohio are allegedly running EBT fraud rings using SNAP benefits to stock their restaurants, skimming cards to make millions. More than 34,000 Ohio households have been duped out of nearly 17 million in SNAP benefits from June 2023 to December 2024, with Somali migrant criminals using skimming devices at grocery stores to clone magnetic strip cards and steal the money, according to the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. In addition, a recent report details how Somali-owned restaurants and grocery stores in Columbus are exploiting benefits. According to the report, migrants own restaurants with attached grocery stores that they own. They buy their ingredients in bulk with SNAP from their grocery stores, then funnel the food to their restaurants where they sell it for cash. One report claims that the Somali migrant men who own the restaurants typically have numerous wives. That's crazy. They only have to claim their first wife.
Numerous? At least 4.
So that subsequent wives are able to collect welfare benefits that are then used to prop up the stores and restaurants. This comes as of a 2022 audit of Somali Community Link, a Columbus nonprofit funded in 2020 by Somali migrants, exposed a reported $2.3 million in fraud from federal emergency rental assistance program funds. The investigation flagged missing rental aid, violations of cash management protocols, and inadequate fraud safeguards. Despite these failures, the group, tied to local politicians via campaign donations, secured $350,000 in state funding last summer for a community center, plus $100,000 from Columbus for housing and youth programs. Back in 2020, Somali brothers Hassan and Abdurrahim Noriso, former owners of Tawfiq Market in Columbus, were indicted for a 9-year SNAP and WIC fraud conspiracy totaling over $10 million. The duo allegedly swapped benefits for cash at half the value. Abdurrahim, who oversaw operations, was sentenced to 2 years behind bars. Hassan got house arrest and probation after a guilty plea. So you can defraud SNAP benefits for $10 million and you get house arrest and probation. Only if you're Somalian, I guess, because if I do that and if you and I do that, we're going to go to jail for a long, long time.
That's for sure. I think they're getting kickbacks to allow that kind of crap to happen.
Do you want to hear more from members and leaders from the Somali community to say, we need to look at ourselves.
Watch what he says.
Hold our own neighbors accountable, because look at the damage that this
He's going to blame it on whites.
has done to our community. What do you want to hear more from, instead of just saying, don't blame us? Do you want to see more ownership and oversight from within?
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white.
Look at this piece of crap. What does a white man, especially a Christian man, have anything to do with it?
Men accountable for the crimes that they have committed. I think for the community to maybe educate their population, because I think what you're seeing here is there's secondary victims in this, that there's
to teach them how to get away with it without getting caught. Is that their plan?
providers inside the community that are then victimizing the community themselves by signing them up, because when we're going to some of these people, they're like, I had no idea I was in this program. So I think it's asking us then, for every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that. I think it's crime in general. And I think the biggest thing on this is just making sure that we're educating the population. And again, this is 80 people or so that have been convicted in this, maybe some more in that. Let
me see if I can find that quick. I think I did see that. Oh, that's not it. Well, I got to get on my page actually to find it. Oh, boy. All spirits, no. Oh, that's a truck driver one. That's one from Gregory. I should play that. Hold on, let me play that. I think it's this one. Let me drag this over here and play it. It's muted right now.
Safe drivers.
You know, I'm
Gotta show love to Sheriff Kozak because he is the man. You know, he put this out here. The number of undocumented, unlicensed, unsafe drivers scares me. Yeah, this was a post on Laramie County Sheriff's Office. It says the truck is illegal and so is the driver, allegedly.
Hey folks, this is Sheriff Kozak here with another video update. This video is called "The Truck is Illegal and So is the Driver," allegedly. My attorney says I got to keep saying that word, allegedly. So this morning, our deputy stopped this truck for several violations. One was had bald tires, had 3 flat tires, it had a tail light that was out, and it appeared to be severely overweight. So he stopped the vehicle. The deputy got out of his patrol car and was approaching the driver when this truck began to roll backwards and hit the front of our patrol truck. So much damage that it's out of service now. We can't use the truck until it gets repaired. Why did that happen? Because allegedly, this truck had inoperable brakes, and so it rolled back into our patrol truck. The
3 flat tires.
Driver did not
and
have a CDL. Was not
dangerous. It could go all over the road.
And is now in the custody of Immigration and Customs, him and the passenger. We called High Patrol over to do an inspection on this truck. 23 out of service violations. And as I drive by this vehicle, those of you who are experienced truckers can probably pick out all the safety violations right here as I drive by. I mean, look at these hoses here at the cab. Look, you can just tell the truck looks to be overweight. So I'm in the impound lot now of the tow company. I just had a conversation with the owner of this company who says that, you know, the person who was driving was not authorized to be driving and should not have been driving the truck. So we had a discussion about these out of service violations.
I don't trust them as far as I can
But you know what, folks? This is causing a bad reputation to those truckers that are doing it right. Those hardworking truck drivers, properly licensed, following all the laws that they should be. Because let's face it, folks, if this truck was behind my family, stopped at a red light, boy, I tell you what, I'm concerned.
With the hard-landing brakes?
That we didn't have a more tragic situation. So I want to thank my deputies out there every day doing the right thing, trying to get these vehicles off the street. We're going to focus on unlicensed, undocumented, unsafe truckers and truck drivers and trucking companies until hopefully someday this situation turns around from where it is right now, because it's a sad situation. And I just feel sorry for those truck drivers that are trying to do it right and compete against companies like this. So thanks a lot, folks. We'll see you at the next video.
Gotta show love to Sheriff Kozak because he is the man.
Playing a second time.
You know why I'm stopping you?
I don't know, officer. I'm just hauling cars.
Yeah, 4 of them. On a trailer that's older than I am. You got a CDL?
No, I don't need. I only drive local.
You're in St. Cloud with a St. Paul address on the door and these numbers that look like they were written with a bingo marker. Those DOT numbers even real?
They work, yes. My cousin gave me.
Lady, this truck is a whole... You know why I'm stopping you?
I don't know, officer. I'm just hauling cars.
Yeah, 4 of them. On a trailer that's older than I am. You got a CDL?
No, I don't need. I only drive local.
You're in St. Cloud with a St. Paul address on...
I seen one with the... They had slapped a new sticker on their DOT numbers, and they weren't even valid. They just make it up, and they're driving here, and they're driving a lot of drugs in here. All right, here's the one about the... Oh, no, I'm going to play this other one first. Hold on. This other one. Hold on.
The corruption of the welfare industrial complex is on full display, with reports that Minnesota Somalis siphoned over $1 billion in food stamp fraud, housing fraud, addiction program fraud, children's autism fraud, on top of the ever-popular Medicaid fraud. We can only guess the voting
What's
fraud.
the election out there?
The running theme has been how shockingly easy it is to defraud the government, to snag hundreds of thousands of taxpayer money.
That's a good one.
And tens of millions in federal grants to NGOs. Of course, as such as Somalis, federal auditor GAO estimates up to $500 billion is stolen in fraud in an empire of welfare that costs over $2.5 trillion per year. For perspective, $500 billion could abolish the income tax for 90% of Americans, everybody up to $125K. Instead, it goes to fraud. Of course, fraud is just the tip of the iceberg because almost all welfare goes to people who don't actually need it. They could work, but they choose not to. We know this because the world existed before welfare. So in the 1950s, before Democrats turned means-tested programs into the greatest vote-buying scheme since bread and circuses, now back then, welfare focused on people who could not work. So the blind, the disabled, impoverished seniors. Roughly 5 million Americans were on welfare. That's about 3% of the population. Today, that has ballooned to almost 30% of Americans who are on some means-tested program, from Medicaid and SNAP to Section 8 and TA.
Isn't that ridiculous? Absolutely ridiculous. We're going backwards.
ANF cash payments. 42 million are on SNAP alone. It's even worse in dollars. In the 1950s, welfare cost about $40 billion a year, adjusting for inflation and population size. Today, it is 60 times higher. In other words, literal fraud may only be a fifth of welfare, but 90 to 98% is not necessary. It's vote buying. Vote buying that destroys the recipients who are bribed to remain poor. One Cato Institute study estimated the full welfare package pays better than half the median income nationwide. Keep in mind, you don't have to work for it. It pays 3/4 the median in blue states like California. It pays 90% of median household income in Hawaii, suggesting the real mystery is why so few people are on welfare. Perhaps they are too proud or they don't know any Somalis. So as next brought to you by I Trust Capital, the welfare industrial complex is bankrupting the country, and it's who just don't want to work. Republicans nibble at the edges, trimming Medicaid for the able-bodied in the big, beautiful bill, and standing up to Democrats on Medicaid for illegals and the shutdown. But in that shutdown, we saw the awesome power of the welfare industrial complex when Republicans cowered before the might of 42 million food stamp recipients who may not vote their pocketbook, but they certainly do vote yours. The wider concern is if a third of the population is on welfare, another 15% of voters work for government, that's an overwhelming head start for the party of big government with tens of millions of clients on the payroll. Read the rest with charts and all the...
Yeah, they want you to be dependent on the government, so you vote for them. Otherwise, you lose your money.
The gory details at profsandknowledge.com.
Okay. Oh, unbelievable. So, all right, this is the one I wanted to play. Take your notebooks. This is, get your notes. It looks like the Trump's people did a sting operation and caught him and went in with special forces and everything to go after the Somali ones because these people are armed and everything. And so they did a sting on them and closed them down. And that's where they're getting a lot of their information. Now they're backtracking where all this money was going. They have truckloads of money going out of the country.
5:18 a.m., Minneapolis, Minnesota. A federal raid in the dark. A judge.
Now, this isn't just happening in Minnesota. It's happening in several other states.
Under secret surveillance, encrypted routes, CJNG shipments, the largest breach of trust Minnesota has ever seen. Inside a downtown office, a woman appointed to defend the law was doing something very different. Judge Layla Mahad was supposed to be a shield between crime and the public. Instead, her office had quietly become part of a cartel supply line. It started with 6 kilograms of cocaine. Before we continue with this operation, if you can take a quick second to support the channel, it would mean a lot. YouTube is not the biggest fan of content like this, but we believe people deserve to hear the truth. If you agree, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us beat the algorithm and keep going. This was cold and quiet. Frost-covered windshields, and the streets looked normal. There were no sirens, no shouting, no warning, but the raid had already begun. Unmarked cars rolled up outside Judge Mahad's office building. FBI and DEA agents stepped out, moved to the entrance, and took their positions. A battering ram hit the reinforced door. The frame shook. Family photos beside an American flag rattled on the wall, a reminder of the oath she had once sworn and how far she had gone from it. Agents moved through the rooms, clearing one space at a time. Drawers were pulled open, cabinets were checked, flashlights cut across desks and walls. Behind a false panel, they found 6 kilograms of tightly wrapped cocaine and 7 firearms.
Look at all this. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Unbelievable.
And send someone to prison.
Pause it. I meant to pause it. Hold on. They play that again.
Behind a false panel, they found 6 kilograms of tightly wrapped cocaine and 7 firearms stored in phone-lined cases. That alone was enough to end a career and send someone to prison for years. But the real shock was still waiting. In a dusty hidden safe, agents found $81 million in sealed cash. On the judge's desk, an unlocked phone screen lit up with encrypted messages, routes, dates, coded commodities, and references to CJNG shipments. This was not a simple case of a judge accepting a bribe. This was a judge running part of a cartel network from within the justice system itself. As investigators dug deeper, the numbers became even more disturbing. Over 6 years, more than $61 million in cash, plus another $118 million in suspicious transfers, had moved through 29 shell companies tied to the same network. Those companies were registered in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Panama, and Curacao. Not one of them sold a real product. Not one had a public phone number. On paper, they barely existed. In reality, they were moving more money than some small banks. Every dollar traced back to one source, CJNG.
400 of them out there? Wow. And that's growing really fast, Christine.
Cartel routes. The people involved were not street dealers on a corner. They were people inside the system. A bank director approved late-night transfers. A local police chief signed special access forms for cargo screening. With those signatures, trucks rolled, containers moved, and cash flowed back out the other side. This was not simple bribery. It was a system built on purpose. In one piece of evidence, investigators read an email from Mahad to a bank official. The message was short and clear. She wrote, "Clear the transfer." No delay, and within hours, the money moved. No threats, no back alley meeting, just a quiet instruction inside a normal workday. Surveillance showed how bold this network had become. At 2:17 a.m.
John, I think I've seen it also over a Parlor and a few other places. Orbeez.net also. This has been shown on.
On another night, cameras captured Judge Mahad entering a dark community center through a side door. No lights were on, no security cameras were visible from the street. 3 men followed her inside. One of them was later identified as Abdi Khalaf, 36 years old and wanted in 2 states for armed robbery. They stayed for exactly 17 minutes. There were no bags on the video, no visible cash, just doors opening and closing. But agents who reviewed the footage said it felt like watching a deal in motion without seeing the product. Then agents found an even darker part of the story. Judge Mahad was not only moving drugs, she was helping bring people into the state. More than 580 Somali nationals had entered Minnesota through channels linked to her network. They were not families with clean records. Many were young men with criminal histories, gang marks, and clear signs of combat experience. In just 16 months, that same group was linked to 57 shootings, 91 armed robberies, 9 overdose deaths, and 22 forced prostitution cases. One shooting outside a supermarket in Bloomington left 2 grandparents wounded. One of the suspects carried a PCA badge from a clinic that had billed Medicaid $1.7 million for services that never happened. Money intended for elderly care.
It's unbelievable how much they're just shipping the money out. And the more they print it and just hand it out, it makes it more worthless. That's why inflation's so friggin' high.
Had been turned into ammunition and violence. The line between law and crime had not just blurred, it had been wiped away by the person who was supposed to defend it. As the case grew, federal agents realized this was no longer just an office raid.
I did see where a sheriff got arrested. I forgot where it was. Maybe it was Eagle Pass.
Needed to become something larger. The operation got a name, Operation Northern Razor. The goal was simple, cut through the network across the entire state. In a command center, walls were covered with maps and photos. Red dots showed targets, warehouses, clinics, apartment buildings, garages, and 2
They're all well organized. I can hand them that.
Riverfront piers. On their own, each place looked ordinary. Together, they formed a hidden supply chain. At 4:03 a.m. on a Thursday, phones across the state buzzed with a single instruction: immediate action.
Throw it as hard as you want.
Oh,
Go on.
sorry about the ad.
Watching it zip away feels like it might just keep going, right?
More than 100 federal and local units moved at the same time. Black SUVs rolled down icy streets. Tactical vans took positions behind apartment blocks. Highway patrol units blocked exits on key routes. A helicopter hovered above warehouses near the river, watching for anyone trying to escape. The first hit came at a former trucking depot outside Brooklyn Park. From the road, the building looked abandoned. Rusted signs, faded paint, nothing special. But when agents breached the side door, they walked...
Did they get any politicians while they were at it? I hope so.
Walked into a working drug facility. There were industrial packaging machines, barrels of cutting agents, and pallets of sealed boxes ready to ship. 2 men tried to run through the storage rows, but K9 teams caught them before they reached an exit. On a metal desk, a shipping manifest listed medical supplies going to a clinic that did not exist. About 20 miles south, another team entered the basement of a converted church. From the outside, stained glass windows and a small parking lot made it look...
From what I heard just happened like 2-3 days ago.
Look like any neighborhood place of worship. Inside, agents found plastic tubs full of pills, vacuum sealers.
Has it been released to the media yet? I don't know.
And cash counters. A volunteer who had come early to make coffee froze when he saw them. He wasn't armed. He was just terrified. Behind a wall, documents showed the building had been used for late-night handoffs, arranged through coded text messages. In Burnsville, a team faced the hardest resistance of the morning. As tactical units closed in on a house, 2 figures burst from the garage and ran across the yard. One jumped a fence and headed for a tree line. Overhead, a small drone tracked his movement. Agents on the ground closed the gap. Within minutes, he was on the ground, handcuffed, breathing heavy in the cold air. By noon, agents had hit 27 locations. They seized more than 200 kilograms of narcotics, large amounts of cash hidden in ceilings and floors, laptops full of routing data, and notebooks listing meetings with officials who had already quietly resigned. From Duluth to Rochester, people woke up to find police tape around familiar buildings and helicopters circling above. It wasn't a foreign attack. It was a cleanup of corruption that had been sitting in plain sight. Operation Northern Razor didn't end with the doors being kicked in. That was only the visible part. The real work happened afterward, in evidence rooms and analysis centers. Agents started to connect every address, every deposit, every approval. What first looked like random locations turned into a machine that turned drugs into money, money into influence, and influence into protection. On the walls of the command center, photos of seized documents, bank wires, notarized letters, and city approvals filled every space. Each item alone could be explained away. Together, they were a pattern. Regular payments labeled as facility fees or security consulting moved every month. One line showed $32,000 going regularly into a private account belonging to a police captain in Hennepin County. Another showed $11,500 tied to a zoning change that had allowed an old warehouse to be used for community services. That warehouse later turned out to be a repackaging center for narcotics. Emails between Judge Mahad and a bank director were simple and clear. In one of them, she wrote, "Clear the transfer, no delay," and the money moved shortly after. This was not whispering in dark alleys. This was crime through normal office work. A sheriff's department accepted donations that appeared just as traffic stops along a certain trucking route dropped to nearly zero. A city council approved 6 warehouse leases in a 12-minute meeting for companies with Somali surnames and no employees. When the investigation became public, offices locked doors. Some staff deleted emails. Others ran shredders non-stop. But the digital records were already saved. Timelines were already being rebuilt. Outside, the public reaction went beyond anger. It turned into disbelief. For years, people in Minnesota had trusted the faces behind badges, benches, and bank counters. Now they were seeing those same names on news reports tied to cartel activity. In a senior center in St. Paul, older residents sat in front of the TV, watching live footage of familiar churches and clinics wrapped in police tape. One woman looked at a photo of a building she passed every day and whispered, "I've walked by that church for 20 years. I had no idea." Protesters gathered outside county courthouses holding signs in the freezing air. One sign read, "If the law is criminal, what justice remains?" People wanted resignations, answers, and guarantees it would not happen again. A police union released a short statement saying, "The actions of certain individuals do not reflect the values of this department," but the words did little to calm the streets. Inside a federal detention facility, Judge Layla Mahad stayed quiet. During her first interview, she did not ask what charges she faced. She did not demand a lawyer, at least not right away. She sat still, hands folded. The same hands that once signed court orders.
Yeah, same
the
as
system that had
you're
lifted
saying,
her up was now
Christine,
holding
same
her in a cell. As the days passed, the size of the case
saying they're doing it basically the same way as they did it in Venezuela. You better pay to play, basically.
kept growing. What started as 6 kilograms of cocaine in one office turned into more than 240 kilograms of narcotics across all locations. Alongside the drugs, agents found bags of currency, gold coins, cashier's checks, and prepaid cards. Counting machines ran for hours. By the end of the week, the total value of seized money and assets reached $154.9 million. Some of it had been hidden in ceiling vents, inside a water heater, and even in a child's toy house. But again, the most important part wasn't the cash or the drugs.
Wonder if they'll ever find all of it.
It was the names. Logbooks and ledgers held list after list of people involved. Some were already known criminals. Others,
Trump, in a way, is going after the Democrats' money by cutting off all the drugs and the illegals coming in here. That's a big part of their money.
were not. A county procurement officer, a health clinic manager, a former sheriff's deputy, 2 accountants, a church treasurer. When agents came to arrest them, most did not fight. Some cried, some said nothing. One looked at the floor and said, "I thought everybody knew," then asked for a lawyer. Federal prosecutors filed charges against 137 people tied to the network. Not all were charged with drug trafficking. Some faced counts for falsifying documents, accepting improper payments, or approving things they knew were wrong. None of it was minor. Every charge was another broken piece of trust. The effects spread through daily life. Municipal offices fell quiet as staff were suspended. Emergency elections were called to replace city council members who stepped down. A small-town bank locked its doors after its director was indicted, leaving customers wondering where to cash their checks. School board meetings turned tense when parents learned that some bus stops had been used as handoff points. Elderly residents whose care had been billed through fake PCA services stared at bank statements, realizing their health benefits had been used to feed cartel money. Yet in all this, the system did not simply collapse, it pushed back. Agents worked long hours, analysts connected transfers, ordinary people stepped forward. A retired nurse from St. Paul walked into a federal office with records she had kept for 3 years because something felt wrong. A young officer refused an envelope of cash and filed a report instead. A bank clerk printed transaction histories late at night, crying while she worked because she could no longer pretend not to see what was happening. Their choices helped build the case. Operation Northern Razor was not only about drugs or money, it was about whether a community could still trust the system meant to protect it. In the end, Judge Mahad sat in her holding cell with her head lowered. Outside, a reporter stopped an agent and asked, "Is this the end?" The agent thought for a moment and replied, "No, this is the beginning. The system is still worth fighting for because justice isn't a building or a title. It's a promise we only keep if we protect it." The raids ended. The headlines began to fade. But across Minnesota, people looked at their towns differently. They understood now that drugs do not just appear. They move through approvals, signatures, and silence. And they saw that when enough people refuse to stay quiet, even a network built inside the law can be brought down. We'll keep following real operations like this and bring you the stories most people never hear. If you want to stay with us as we uncover the next one, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it.
I don't know what's everyone's 2 cents on that one. All right, here we go.
Let's start from the top because you've been on a tear this week, quite a barn burner. Beginning with the transgender surgeries to mutilate children, you are going to be prosecuting that as a affront to human rights, which it is, as butchery. Can you tell me the state of this prosecution? How are you going to frame this up to the court?
Sure. Well, as an initial matter, we were the first state to pass a law prohibiting these so-called transgender surgeries and therapies for minors. It's a criminal offense, a felony for a doctor to subject a kid to one of these transition surgeries. We will absolutely go after any doctor. I mean, that is sick. Those people are wrong. They need to be behind bars for the rest of their lives. But we want to go further than that. We filed a lawsuit against all of these medical organizations that have been recommending and pushing these treatments on parents, pressuring parents, telling them that these are safe. It's the only way to save your kid. Kids are going to commit suicide if you don't do this mutilation.
That's a lie they sell you.
That is wrong. The evidence shows they knew there were risks. They knew there were unknowns. The human brain is still developing all the way up until your mid-20s. To do this to...
Charles, did this just happen? This is the first I'm seeing that. Charles is saying the 2 U.S. soldiers were killed in Syria. That's a hotbed still of ISIS, actually, in that area. They're kind of mingled in the crowds.
7, 8, 9-year-olds, I mean, it can only be described as child abuse. So we want to hurt them in their wallet. We want them to cough up millions and millions. We want to hold them accountable for what they've done, because they made billions. The profit is several billion a year that these medical organizations get off of these surgeries and so-called therapies. It's wrong, and in Florida, we're going to end it for once and for all.
Now, is this based on Florida state law? Can you tell me, like, this is based on the state law of Florida? Could this be done nationally? Would every state have to pass their own law in order to bring these similar suits?
This is done on Florida's Deceptive and Unfair Trade Practices Act laws. It's got statutory damages of $10,000 for every
translator as well. How long ago did this happen?
Time you say something that's misleading. And we also can see coordination amongst the organizations, which is going to up the penalties that are imposed on these defendants. I believe every state has similar laws. Every state could be doing this. I hope others will pick up the sword and fight for our kids, fight for our parents, fight for common sense and the God-given law of 2 sexes.
So would these companies be able to find some type of settlement?
Yeah, he will retaliate
and say, we promise we won't do this anymore, or we'll pay a restitution.
We'll knock out any center that has any there. I think there's kind of a base right near there. That's why there was troops. I don't know why they'd be off base, though. You really don't want to leave your base.
A
few people do.
What is the intended result for these butchery
4 hours ago? Okay, I didn't see
companies that are, of course, trying to manipulate and destroy our children's lives?
Well, first, I mean, if there's any effort to continue doing this to kids, then, I mean, that is criminal, and we will hold them accountable in criminal law court. On the civil side here, we want to go back and we want to hold them accountable for the wrongs that have happened for years. Could there be some sort of settlement? That's possible, but we're going to hold feet to fire. We absolutely want the misleading information to stop, and that could go far beyond kids. That could go into older teenagers, people in their 20s. I mean, I don't think this is healthy for anybody, but certainly when you're talking about a young person that is still maturing and developing, when you do this surgery, Benny, I think it's important to know that's not just changing your life in that moment. That is changing somebody's entire future. That is changing their entire life. That is robbing them of a normal life. So we're going to hold them accountable. It's going to be expensive.
ISIS can, especially in that area, can just blend in. And in Syria, they've been killing Christians real bad. So when that starts happening, they get in a fever pitch to kill more Christians once they can start getting away.
And at the end of the day, most important is to stop this misleading, deceptive information that is pushed upon parents.
Such a wonderful thing. If every state did this, it would stop entirely. If every state did this, then these kind of practices would be ghettoized.
Oh, there's 3 killed, huh?
In a eugenics style, or like the practice of slavery.
Wouldn't mind some details
it'd be pushed to like the 1% of, only 1% of America were slave owners, right? Like it would be pushed down to the demographics that are truly sunken laws. It'd be so nice to push it to the very edges of society instead of mainstreaming it. And then that's how you can properly stamp it out. And this is the start.
And some of that 1% was black slave owners. So a part of that 1% was black slave owners.
Of that.
Amen.
So all the bull that they try to push on us now, it's ridiculous.
A.G. Weiser, one final question for you here.
I should have played this is about the Tina Peters thing. I should have played it then. I knew I had it lined up for it, but this is what he was saying about it.
A.G. Weiser, one final question for you here. Practically speaking, what happens if representatives of Tina Peters and or the president show up at the state prison in Pueblo tonight or tomorrow and say Tina Peters is coming with us? Will she be released by the state of Colorado while this plays out?
No, there's no legal authority for any federal government action to take a prisoner who's in state custody, lawfully having been tried, convicted, and sentenced. This is an important principle of our Constitution. And everyone who says they care about the rule of law, about public safety, and our Constitution needs to care about this issue. Ben Franklin said when he left the
conflicting reports,
we have a republic as long as we can keep it. This is one of those moments.
One was a
Attorney General Phil Weiser, thank you very much for your time. We'll talk again soon.
Inside the Middle East for 2 tours. Okay. Yeah, they were just recently executing him over there, Christine. I don't know why I keep saying Oh, 2 soldiers, 1 interpreter. All right, so we do have the exact number on that stuff. Okay, watch this guy. He disguised himself and tried to go in front of these teachers that are pushing this whole trans stuff on him. So he was trying to play up to him to get him to talk, and watch how he twisted in the end, using their own words against him. This is pretty good, actually.
Ma'am? Yeah? Hi. Do you work here?
Yes, I do.
Are you a teacher here?
I am my teacher.
See the whole nose
Okay,
ring
I
thing?
have a question. I just moved here with my daughter into the neighborhood, and I was wondering if this was a good school.
Yeah, I think it's a great school.
Okay, so my daughter, she just came out as queer to me, and I was just wondering if this would be a safe learning environment for her.
We actually have a lot of identifying non-binary and genderqueer students here, so I think she'd fit in just fine.
Okay, and I saw that you have a sign in the window. It says everyone is welcome here except ICE.
Yes.
If ICE were to come onto the premises, would you guys kick them off?
Absolutely. We believe in the safety of our students and our faculty, so we would have them leave.
Okay, isn't that how immigration works?
I'm sorry?
Isn't that how immigration
No,
works?
he's
Everyone's
twisting it.
welcome except illegals, and if they come into the country, we kick them out?
Why are you asking me these questions?
Well, it's a simple question. You should be able to answer it. You're a teacher.
Yeah, I don't know who you are. You're filming as a
You don't
student.
need to know who I am. I'm undocumented, ma'am.
You're on school property.
Blue hair and everything.
Ma'am, no one's trespassing on illegal land, so...
Okay, well, you haven't shown me an ID. I don't know.
Oh,
who
so
you
now
are.
you need my papers?
Yes, you're on school.
Are you the Gestapo now? You want to see my papers?
No, but again, our property, you're trespassing. You've shown no form of ID.
Ma'am, you don't need to know who I am. I am fleeing a
It's our country. You need papers to get in.
bad school district in search for a better one. Have a little sympathy.
Unless you can show me proper identification, I'm getting security.
So you're going to call security to take me out simply because I'm an undocumented person on
Yes,
your property?
Yes. I
Isn't
am.
that how immigration works?
I'm asking you to move out of my way.
Like we do with illegal criminals that come into our country.
Provide me an ID of who you are.
As we do with illegals that come into our country.
Or I'm getting security to remove you from the
As we
property.
do with ICE when we remove them from our country.
I'm asking you to please move out of my way. This conversation is no longer.
Okay, bye.
The whole blue hair and nose ring and everything. She thought he was one of her. I tell you.
I don't think many people understand the severity of what's going on in Louisiana right now. So many people are continuing to shelter in place since Operation Catahoula Crunch began. One of the organizations here told
They're sheltering in place so they don't get caught and deported.
me that in just 2 days, the last 2 days, more than 800 people have requested food assistance. This is just in the last 2 days. This operation has been going on for about a week. Many people, possibly thousands of people, are running out of food. They're running out of formula for their babies. And
Long
eventually,
ago, huh?
the people that are avoiding even going out to work are not going to be able to pay the rent or their bills. This morning, there was a press conference. Religious leaders and other community leaders got together and spoke about the needs of the community right now. And they're also demanding that this collaboration between the state and Border Patrol and between federal immigration agencies in general just stops. I have to say, I'm so grateful
for so many people that have welcomed me into their homes.
A creeper.
I've been to so many different neighborhoods. I can see what's actually happening. In Kenner, there are restaurants, stores that are completely empty. Some restaurants have closed temporarily as well for fear of the Border Patrol. The energy is just off. I wish I could just really explain it, but it's a reality that I have never seen before. Again, you see certain stories on maybe social media or stories on the news, specifically, like I'm talking about stories that I've covered, but
I know I
have talked to so many people. Not everyone is willing to speak on camera. Not everyone is willing to tell their story to the world. But I have seen the reality here, and it's almost unbelievable. A 3-year-old is now being cared for by a neighbor after his mom was detained. This is only one of so many stories that I've heard this week and a half that I've been in the New Orleans area. Today, I went to a neighborhood and I saw a person standing in the middle of the road, and she's one of many people that are watching to see if they spot Border Patrol cars so they can let their community know. Their lives have been paralyzed with the situation.
Okay, so then what does this mean? And why is it different now than it was before? I'm just curious.
In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes.
Senator Biden, yes or no, would you allow the cities to ignore the federal law?
No.
I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked.
Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous.
Yeah. They said it too, and it was okay back then. Raise your hand if you think that what is happening right now is okay, and put a thumbs down if you don't think it's okay in the comments. And if you don't think it's okay, why? We all want to hear why. Why was it okay when Obama and Hillary and Bill and Pelosi and Schumer all said it, but it's not now? We really want to hear what you have to say.
Because they figured out that they're
and so many people will watch that video of that woman that I played in the beginning of this video, who really pulled on the heartstrings, didn't she? But you have to remember, all of these people that are starving right now, according to her, they were offered a plane ride and money to go back to their country on us, okay? And they didn't take it. But now they're running
like
to
an
the
auctioneer, I know.
NGOs who have been the facilitators of all of this to begin with. And yeah, sure, if churches want to help these people, they should, but they still need to go back to their country because they are here illegally. They broke our laws. Many are committing crimes. I realize that some of you don't like hearing that, but it's true. And I'm not saying all, but many are. But irregardless, they are here illegally. Why do you think that the Democrats are fighting so hard? Because they need them here so that they can win votes. That, and like I said in my video from yesterday, they want people here to dramatically change the landscape of our country. And it may all look well and good right now, but in the end, it will not look good. It's going to put a huge strain on our country in every way. And let's not forget about all of the people since the beginning of time that have come here the right way. Many of which you see on social media talking about how unfair it is that so many people were let in unvetted when they had to wait in line for years. What is wrong with people? I just don't get it. This is beyond crazy to me that there are people out there that agree with all of this, knowing that this has never been allowed until now. Is it just that people aren't aware that it's never been allowed till now? I don't know, because it's just a simple search on the internet. Okay, simple search. Our resources in our country are for Americans and people that came here legally. Period. And anyone that suggests otherwise has bought into the lie that something's changed and it's free reign for anyone that wants to come here. No.
The left wants socialism, and that's the way they think they can get it. They take down America. They have to have American economy crash.
It's not. Just saying.
That's how they think they can get it. They have to collapse capitalism, and this is how they're doing it.
Man, Trump is on them Somalis, man. He getting them up out of here, man. ISIS is going through Minnesota like a wildfire, bro. Like, he is on them Somalis. He is really on these illegal immigrants, like seriously. He is trying to free up the country. Trump is trying to save humanity. All y'all got these ill feelings for him. But 3/4 of the world, they love him. They talking about, oh yeah, he's losing footing, and man, that man ain't losing footing nowhere, because we all happy for him. Everybody who voted for him is happy for him. But he is cleaning his country up and he's saving humanity. He's protecting humanity, man. Trump is about American people, and Trump is still about masculine men and traditional marriage. You know what I'm saying? He's just about traditional stuff, man. You know, to Trump and the Republicans, it's about family as man, woman, and child. Family to me is man, woman, and child. No disrespect to nobody else. You know what you believe in, and love who you want to love. But over here on this side is man, woman, and child, man. That's how it goes, and that's how it's gonna be with me. Period. But as far as Trump doing this stuff to the Somalis, and I hate how it's going down, but how does it have to go down? It has to go down this way. Like you say, oh, he's doing it like this, and he's too tough. And what when you say self-deport, ain't nobody gonna self-deport. It's probably let's say 1 million people got to self-deport. It's probably I'll be fascinated if I seen 10,000 people self-deport, bro. Ain't nobody trying to leave this country. This is where the money is at.
They believe that 10 million or not 2 million have deported, over 2 million. I don't know.
These people come over here, they take our jobs, they they push us out the workforce. And
I think once the welfare things get cut back, they'll be going back.
And they send the money home and build houses in their country, so when they go retire, they could go retire. They come. That's cool, but don't try to push American people out the workforce. We ain't having that. All we doing right now is what y'all seeing is the big fight back. We just fighting back, period. And whoever don't understand that we fighting back is because you part of a system and you don't understand what's going on. Because you could be replaced tomorrow
the Brown thing
by illegal immigrant that could do your job and will work for cheaper wages.
Probably start finding out.
And then you out of a job. You got to go. You've been with this job 10 or 15 years. Now you got to go find.
We'll see if they try to cover that one up.
And work somewhere else. How that make you feel? Go Trump.
I second that. Go Trump.
I'm making this video, man, because I'm tired of you ET looking motherfuckers. Listen, you came here on a temporary protection. Right. Keyword, temporary. I don't know why the fuck you stupid sons of bitches think that y'all own any part of America. But we gonna show you that you don't owe shit. You don't own a goddamn thing. Only thing you own is that funky ass hijab. That's the only thing you own. Everything else is fucking American. Y'all got some fucking nerve.
You're right.
To brag about being successful with the fucking money you stole. Yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't care how long you've been here, since 93, any of that shit. All you bitches gotta go. One apple spoiled the bunch for me.
Amen on that. Not what this was. Oh, yeah.
What you do with the money? Why you silent? You get all that government money? Shahana Anif?
I believe, if I remember correctly, they caught this team right here stealing donations from the union. I believe that's what it was.
Nurse, Oswald Police, Tiffany Gaban, Sheikh Kershan, Senator Schumer. Where the money going, huh?
Look, Schumer. Yeah, and connections to Schumer somehow.
Where the money going?
It's New York State.
Where the money going, huh? Where the money going, yo? Where the money going? Run away from the drivers, man. Huh? Where the money going, nigga? Where the money going?
Hey, Kirk.
¿Por qué trajiste a gente de la construcción y de la limpieza para apoyarte hoy? Y no nos invitaste a nosotros.
Kirk, Rhode Island, I might be having someone who's running for governor there in Rhode Island come on. I'm working on it. She hasn't had time so far, but still working on it.
Where the money going?
A Republican running for governor.
Where the money going, nigga? Where the money going? Go and serve the community. Go and serve the community. But this is what you do with your people, right? Oh, serving the community, huh?
Oh, they'll steal from anyone. They have no morals.
For the people, right? Hiring security guards. If you're so for the people, why hiring security for? For the people. Only celebrities hire security guards. Only crooks hire security guards. Only crooks hire security guards. Because you know you're corrupt. Just like Transall, Open Plans, all these organizations, man. Danny Harris will run with security. Sarah Lynn will run with security. You running with security?
Do they go home on vacation?
Running with fucking security? I know you do your job, bro. He's doing his job. You can't run for the truth.
Eso querías, ¿no? Ahí está. No lo dije yo. No te querías. No te querías.
Oh, my bad. You can't run. Yeah, you can't fucking run, bitch. You can't.
All right, the next one's about 1 million illegals at least on free taxpayer health care funding.
Undocumented immigrants receiving taxpayer-funded benefits resulted in more than 1 million extra people enrolled in Medicaid alone.
California's Medicaid system in crisis, with Governor Gavin Newsom recently asking for not one, but 2 emergency loans totaling more than $6 billion to try to plug holes in the budget. After far more...
Don't they need to keep their illegal voters?
More undocumented migrants enrolled in Medi-Cal than anticipated.
In the current year, to cover undocumented individuals in Medi-Cal, we're spending $9.5 billion total funds.
The state of California has taken tens of billions of dollars from the federal government, providing free health insurance for illegal immigrants in California. We're going to get that money back.
A similar crisis in New York, where immigrant enrollment in emergency Medicaid has surpassed 480,000 people. As Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency team insist, they've discovered at least 1.3 million illegal migrants have Medicaid. Doge working to make massive cuts.
In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Illegals. Supporters of providing those benefits say it helps protect the
getting Social Security numbers. I guarantee you they can vote with that and then get other benefits, and they'll even get Social Security. Our tax dollars.
Entire community when undocumented immigrants are able to stay healthy. Governor Newsom and others showing no sign of changing course.
No chance of rolling back any of the immigrant.
I'm guaranteeing you that some of these names that they use aren't even real people, and they're getting their kickback from that as well.
Healthcare.
That's not on my doc.
Yeah, so full of crap. Oh. Watch this. It's a good one.
Hola, ¿sabes inglés? ¿Este es su carro? ¿De qué país es su ciudadano?
Since 04. Is Newsom been in that power that long, huh? Gruesome. I call him gruesome. Hey, Mark. Oh, okay. Gimme grants. There you go. Good name for it, Christina. Bye-bye. Got you trapped. Time to go back. Should have deported yourself when you had a chance.
quiere estar dentro de carro o contigo. ¿En dónde está su purse?
Deport. There's nothing to fear if you're a citizen.
Which purse is your person? Dentro de carro.
Bye-bye. Wonder what they do with the vehicles. You're driving around with a vehicle. Wonder what happens with them. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of people. At least we're heading in the right direction, Kurt. We're heading in the right direction. If Tommy Harris had gotten in, I can't imagine how bad we'd be off within a year or so. I can't imagine it. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good one. Here's another one. So.
Criminals. Detainers we're sending to the jails are not being
They're
honored.
not being honored.
These criminals are on the street.
If they
3 days, we picked up sex offenders. Would you want to be near a sex offender?
The
Yes
people,
no?
of course not. The people I have seen you pick up are not sex offenders. They're family.
They're still all illegals, you idiots.
That are just publicized in the media. Don't you?
In the media, I do this every day. I know their names.
Don't you? Okay, so we grabbed one.
And how come they're fighting that one in Maryland that's got let back out again? It's like 4 rounds around with them, trying to get him deported. But because of these liberal judges, he's back in the country and been set free.
You think he's a crim?
Who did you grab today?
You think he's a crim?
I haven't checked his name yet.
2-time DUI conviction. What if you got hit by a DUI driver?
I don't think a DUI driver needs to be deported from our country. No.
Yes, they do. They're here illegal anyways.
I feel like
That's how he kills somebody, right?
Everybody we do is non-crims.
I think this is how you guys convince yourself that what you're doing is okay.
No.
This is how you sleep at night.
Understand?
I sleep really well.
Itself is a crime.
I don't believe in that.
Well,
And that's your belief.
Yeah, it is my belief.
But guess what? There's a law.
They're not off
And the law
They're off.
overrides your belief.
Well, you've arrested people who have come here legally. You've arrested people who have.
Yes. Like today. He had a visa. But guess what? Visa expired in 2019. 2022 had 2 DUIs.
They're afraid to renew their visas because people like you stop courthouses. Case in point, we are behind a fucking courthouse.
You can only renew that visa so many times anyways.
Behind a courthouse. You're not casing a courthouse. There are 6 vehicles here with 15 officers behind a courthouse.
Okay, if he's afraid.
They need that many because
Detainers
I didn't mean to restart it.
No.
They need that many because of you idiots.
This is how you sleep at night.
Understand? Crossing your belief.
Well, you've arrested people who have come here legally. You've arrested people. They're afraid to renew their visas because people like you stop courthouses. Case in point, we are behind a fucking courthouse. Behind a courthouse. You're not casing a courthouse.
That's
there
where they
are
happen
6
to pick them
vehicles here
up.
with 15 officers behind a courthouse.
Okay, if he's afraid.
They're insane. I wouldn't even debate them after a while. Yeah, I would. Oh, they irritate me so bad. It's ridiculous. I don't know. Let me grab the next one. I got a few more I'm going to play. I know I have a Holman one I would definitely want to play.
The border czar, Tom Homan, joins us tonight to talk about Minnesota as well as a number of other issues. And, sir, it's good to have you back on the show. Trump mentioning the Daily Mail reporting from 2020 that Ilhan Omar married her brother to get into the country. This was last week. Take a listen.
Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. It's a fraud.
They are doing fraud.
Calls that a fraud. It's a
We're gonna
story
save
that,
a lot
that
of
has
money
never
once
been
we
successfully
get rid of
refuted,
it
even
all.
though it's now a 5-year-old story. That's clearly a deportable offense. Is there an investigation into that?
You know,
so
I just
the money
got
we'll need
advised
for our
by
healthcare
a
and
fraud
stuff in the
investigator
future.
the other day on that. I asked the question, who reviewed the file, and says that there was
Karen Bass,
immigration
huh?
fraud involved. The statute of limitation became an
Boy,
issue
that's
in
a
the
piece
last
of
4
work.
years when this was first brought up. Who was
Little poll in the chat. Who's going to win the governorship out in California, California?
president? Who run DOJ? So pulling the records now, pulling the files, and we're looking at. But this fraud investigator, who I know personally, one of the best fraud investigators in HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, said there's no doubt he reviewed the file. So I'm running that down this week, matter of fact, and we'll see.
It's tremendous that, I mean, and according to the Secretary, Kristi Noem of DHS, she said nearly 50% of the visas are fraudulent in this community. I mean, that would mean that half the Somali refugees are here in some way illegally. What's going to happen? Is something's actually going to happen? Are there going to be people stripped of their visas, deported? Are we going to see that?
I would strip them of their visas.
Absolutely. I mean, those days are over. Thank God President Trump's in the White House. We're going to look at all of them. I mean, we're going to look at those here illegally, of course. We're going to look at those here under a visa or some sort of, immigration process that are criminals. We're going to look at the national security threats. But those who came through a process that weren't properly vetted, who didn't provide documentation, who slipped through the Biden's weak processes on, giving visas and temporary, whether student visas or visitors visas or whatever. We're going the whole gamut. President Trump has instructed us go down.
Yep. I was going to play, I think it was this one next.
If you can seize a tanker without killing anyone,
What's that?
If you can seize an oil tanker without killing anyone, shouldn't that have been the way that these fishing boats were also stopped?
Fishing boats?
They had 6 or 7 outboard motors, the most expensive ones, all hooked up to these boats. And there was no fishing gear on the damn things.
What was a fishing boat?
Well,
the drug runners?
The drug runners.
Those aren't
the drug runners.
Those aren't fishing boats.
If you can seize a vessel without violence.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Article 2 authority. The president, the commander-in-chief, has identified and designated terrorist organizations who are cartels who run drugs that kill 100,000 Americans a year. So there's no legal question that he has the legal ability to blow those boats out of the water, and they will continue. This, however, these were...
And California, I'd definitely vote for the most commie one against them. I'd vote against the most commie one, whoever the Republicans can get up there. Now, they do that thing where the big balloon primary where they could have 2 Democrats running against each other, which helps them so immensely downstream and also on presidential elections, especially for the any statewide races. See, you want to get someone in the finals, so at least it brings out more Republicans for the other people running for office.
Economic sanctions by the president as delegated by Congress. Those were enforced by civil authorities with the aid of the U.S. Navy. So we're talking about 2 very different things. But if you're asking me if I have sympathy for narco-terrorists killing Americans,
they are traitors,
carrying the drugs to kill Americans,
I agree.
Don't. I have sympathy for my neighbors in Missouri who've been poisoned, who die. And we finally have a president who cares about them more than the Democrats care about going down to El Salvador to drink margaritas with terrorists.
Senator,
that's how I feel about it.
Do you believe that the Trump administration should try to overthrow Maduro's regime?
That's not. We're not talking about that at all. We're talking about actually enforcing sanctions. And
we want to have them kick that dictator out.
So, and again, sort of letting the world know that we have important interests in our own hemisphere.
But it is something the administration is weighing. The president was kind of open about that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, that's an assertion you're making.
Senator Hawley has expressed opposition to U.S. troops on the ground in Venezuela. Are you open to troops in Venezuela?
I trust President Trump is going to make a good decision here. So he's a realist who understands that we have to, again, pivot away from Europe's over-reliance on the generosity of Americans. They have failed and refused to step up for their own continental defense. That has to change. And so we have real interest here on our own hemisphere. We have real interest in the great competition with China. So that's what my focus is. All right, thanks, guys.
He handled that pretty well.
Some video. As an attorney now who stood in front of Tyler Robinson, we had a good side shot of him, but that will probably be be in your view in just a moment. There are certain conditions that we have to live by in terms of what we can show and when we can show it. And there you see Tyler Robinson now as the attorney steps away for this preliminary.
I hear he was laughing and smiling during the whole thing.
Hearing. We've got an all-star lineup of guests ready to break down what happens during the day today. Let's go first of all to our correspondent, Matt Finn. He's outside the courthouse in Provo, Utah. Set the table for us, Matt.
Well, John, this is the first time we are physically seeing.
Yeah, he was laughing and smiling the whole time. Pretty sick. Whatever.
So meet Kalinli Diary. He's a 42-year-old Somali immigrant who abducted and raped a 12-year-old girl in Minnesota. According to police, he reportedly grabbed the little girl as she was playing in her backyard and assaulted her in his car. Oh, but here's the kicker. After he was found guilty, he received a community support letter sent to the court by the Al Hassan Islamic Center in St. Paul asking for leniency on his behalf. The letter expressed the Somali community's strong and heartfelt support for Kalinli Diary, a member of our community, describing him as a deeply good man whose presence enriches the lives of those around him, and blaming his crime on the challenge of starting over in a new culture. So now maybe it's just my ignorance from all of my white privilege or whatever, but am I to understand that abducting and raping little girls is just part of Somali culture? Like, oh, back home, this would have been perfectly fine. But, he's here now and he's trying to learn to obey the traffic laws and not assault children. Our bad. He didn't know. Let me tell you something. Any culture that admits that raping children is a part of their societal makeup is not a culture that you want here. It cannot assimilate. It is fundamentally opposed.
Don't assume they can't win the Senate either. I think they can. They can do it. They can cheat enough to do it.
To everything we stand for. And it is not racist to say that that kind of culture cannot live here.
Amen. She said it well.
As founder of MassNoncompliance.com and organizer of the Mass Noncompliance protests against digital ID, I want to let you all know that firstly, the location for the 13th of December protest in London will be announced tomorrow, the 2nd of December, and also why this protest matters. This protest matters because far too many people still don't understand what digital ID really means. It's not a convenient digital version of you on your phone. It's not just credentials made easy. It's an entire control architecture, and it's already built. The UK Gov Wallet is trialing the Veterans Card, and next, the digital driver's license. So whatever name they give it, brick card, digital ID, smart card, it all ends up as the same thing. Another credential, another token inside that government wallet. And that wallet won't stop at ID. It's designed to hold everything about you, access to services, entitlements, your ability to move, transact, participate, bit by bit, everything digitized, everything tokenized. Your pension, your benefits, your taxes, your ability to book a flight, to go to a football match, book a festival ticket. Digital ID, don't have it, no access to anything. Once your identity is tied to your money and once money becomes programmable, you only spend what's approved, where it's approved, and when it's approved. And then they add the carbon scores. Every part of life becomes a virtual token, and that government wallet becomes the app of apps, the master key, the gatekeeper, the tracker. It's a people tracking super cookie wrapped in friendly branding. And if we do not stop it now, there will be no off switch later. This fight is not abstract. It's about our lives, our freedoms, our autonomy, and the future our children will inherit. So on the 13th, we pull back the curtain because this is not simply government policy. This is not Starmer's plan. It's not even Tony Blair's plan. This is straight out of the globalist playbook and written down in the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Goal 16, target 16.9, a legal identity for all. The UN being a moral cover for the unaccountable, unelected globalists that hand down diktat that all global governments follow in lockstep. They call it sustainable development. We call it scalable servitude. This is bigger than any
That's it. It's control.
Political theatre that we're fed daily. That is why this protest matters. Know thine enemy, know their plan, but most importantly, know your power. So we march, we protest, we rally. We have incredible speakers and a community of
it seems like a lot of them do talk fast, especially from Britain.
People refusing to sleepwalk into a future they did not choose. And I hate asking, but I'm halfway there on the fundraiser. If you can donate and support, please do. It helps make this unmissable and sustains the Mass Noncompliance campaign. I'll drop a link to the fundraiser in the comments below, and every single donation is received with gratitude. Once again, London will lead the way and the world will be watching. And on that note, I'd like to thank Iconic and especially Jamie Ike for the support on the media side, helping to ensure this day is seen far beyond the UK. Because of that, this protest will be next level amplified. So a massive thank you to Jamie and the team at Iconic. So stand with me and thousands of others on the 13th of December at 1 p.m. in London. Location will be announced tomorrow. Yeah. All the links below. Be there.
Actually, I got some videos of the Tommy Robinson thing today. It was pretty big. It was pretty huge. It's actually growing there in England. So I don't know. That's going to come to a civil war. It almost looks like. It depends on how much the government's going to come down on them on the side of the Islam. I don't know. We'll have to see. Right now, if there was an election, Nigel Farage would win. It looks like, but they won't let that happen. The globalists won't.
For freedom, for our future, and for our children's future.
You definitely tell the accent. All right, I'm going to close with a couple of those cute baby AI ones. These are funny, so I like to play them now and then. Beginning and end.
Did you just hire that boy that's wearing cat ears and a...
Oh, I forgot to say, I'm going to be on tomorrow at 6, and I do have a guest coming on Wednesday, an important guest. I'll hold who it is a little bit, but on Wednesday at 5 p.m. That's what the game plan is. I should be on tomorrow at 6. I had trouble logging in today into my Rumble Studio. For some reason, I cleaned the machine and it wouldn't take my passwords and had to go through hell from being verified again and all that kind of crap. And then I had to set it all back up a second time. So here we go.
Cat collar, and do you know that he has a leash in his tool bag in case he says it gets out of control?
I did not know about the leash, but I did know about the other stuff, okay? And we cannot discriminate against him for identifying as a cat, okay? That's just the way the world is now. It's a really good references, so we're just going to have to make it work.
Okay, yep, whatever.
I don't care what they say
I'm
anymore.
going to take like a 20-minute
Gregory,
break. I got to run to the store real quick.
I did some truck ones earlier.
You can't just leave in the middle of the shift. What do you need from the store? Is everything okay?
Well, I'm going to run down to Dollar General.
Yeah, their crude oil's dirty,
see
I
how
guess.
far he's willing to take this.
China
Either he's going to eat the cat food, and I'm just going to accept that he's a little fucking crazy,
well, I got 2
and I'm
more
going to get
videos,
over it,
Pat.
or I'm going to beat the fuck out of him next time he purs when I hand him an impact. All right? So
I got a late start.
Roscoe, you cannot beat the fuck out of him.
Bullshit, he's dressed up as a cat, not a fucking lion. I think I can take him. Okay? Look, all I'm saying is, I won't go to Dollar General and get the cat food if you don't want me to, but if somebody does some weird shit around me again, I'm going to beat the 9 lives out of it, mother. That's all I'm saying. So just plan accordingly.
Just hold on a second, Ross. Let's not do anything crazy. Okay, look, here comes Ricky right here. I'll see if he'll switch laborers with you for the week, all right? Hey, Ricky, hey, you don't mind working with the new guy, do you? The one that does the cat thing?
Oh, Whiskers? Yeah, but he's pretty cool. I mean, he did just get a litter box out of the back of his car and he's shitting in it over there behind those pallets, but, other than that, he's all right.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, he'd have definitely ate the cat food, is all I'm saying.
Gregory, I had trouble getting on Rumble 2 Studio. It took me half an hour. I had troubles logging in. I could log into Rumble itself, but to get onto the studio, it made me do other verification crap. So maybe she's having the same trouble, Gregory. I don't know.
I'm thinking so, too, and I just sent Pablo to go get some fancy fish from Walmart. We're going to find out together. It's going to be a great day.
No. We're not doing that, okay? We're not giving him cat food. I'll handle the litter box situation. Listen, we needed some help.
Gregory, you just going to vacation down there for a day and a half?
I hired somebody, okay? We're just going to have to work through this and get over it. I don't care how weird you think it is. Whatever.
Well, remember, Georgia at night can get pretty cold, though.
He wants to identify as long as it intends to be a good fucking employee, he's going to stay around here, okay?
Whatever.
Okay. Hey,
we've already had single digits up here in upstate New York.
You still got one
Low
open
single
spot,
digits.
right?
Yes, we still have one spot open. Is there somebody you'd like to recommend?
Yeah, could you hire somebody that acts like a dog? I'd like to see how that plays out.
They're funny. There's a shorter one, but it's another good one.
You know I'm not one to complain, but I gotta have a new work truck. I can't keep driving that one out there.
Oh, did I play
it's
this
too new. It's got too many gadgets. I mean, I can't even
I think
reverse
I played
with
this
it.
one. Well, I'll play
You
it
can't
again.
reverse with it. Is the transmission
I forgot
already
I
gone
played
out?
this.
That's a brand new truck.
I don't know.
Those who didn't
All
see
I
it
did
at
was
the
throw it in
beginning.
reverse. It started beeping real loud, and then it played me a video of somebody getting ran over by a truck. You know, I have anything out there with a cassette player? That's kind of my speed.
Played you a video. Roscoe, that's your rear view camera.
And why do I need that? I got 3 mirrors to look at. I mean, come on now. I guess it does make a little bit of sense, though, with the scream and the thump I felt. I just thought I had a really good audio
It trips
system,
you off.
like an immersive experience.
I do out here, too.
We should probably go to the parking lot.
Yeah, we probably should. Now, when you say commotion out there, could you specify that a little bit? Maybe, tell me if there was somebody laying on the ground behind a truck, possibly?
Well, that is a really good guess. You should apply for Wheel of Fortune. That is exactly what was going on out there. And he seemed fine. He seemed fine until he found out it was a company truck.
Great. That's all he needs, another lawsuit. Good job, I guess, Can't check your rearview camera. You checked all 3 mirrors, didn't see him.
Well, actually, if they get him out of Venezuela and they get that lady leader in there and everything, they'll start being able to sell the oil on the world market, and that'll lower oil prices even more, which will lower our cost of living.
That's what the
Should be
camera's
good.
for.
Real wages will
Did the
go
ambulance
up.
already take him?
That was you?
Not one of my finer moments. Okay, I'll admit to that. I mean, who the hell stands behind a truck when it's in reverse in the first place? All they had to do was move out of the way.
Those are pretty cute. Everything. All right, I should be on it at 6 tomorrow. All right, and I have some guests this week coming on. All right. God bless everyone. Merry Christmas. Take care. Bye-bye. Let me get over this page.